And joining us now to talk more about investing, David Scranton, the CEO and founder of Advisors Academy and the author of the book Financial Insanity: How to Keep Wall Street's Cancer from Spreading to Your Portfolio. We really appreciate you coming in to visit with us today, David.
Well, thank you for having me.
Wall Street right now. I mean, people always say you got to take the long view of the markets. And so maybe we ought to take a long view predicated on what happened in 2008 and the age of Obama, if you will, and Obamonomics. Where are we right now as a nation on Wall Street and on Main Street?
Well, first of all, have you ever asked any financial advisor who said that over the long run the stock market outperforms other assets? Have you ever asked that person, how long is the long run?
Now, that is the kind of question we ought to be asking, and it's one we hope you will answer for us. How long is the long run?
Shockingly, the long run is 30 years, 35 years. To be statistically confident that the market's going to outperform other asset classes, it's literally 35 years. Because when you go back in stock market history, looking back almost 200 years, you have these consistently predictable and repeatable patterns. You get these long-term secular bear markets that are 20 years or slightly longer. You get these slightly shorter-term secular bull markets, which might be 12 or 15 years. So it takes 35 years to go full cycle. You know, we've been in the last secular bear market arguably since the turn of the century. And when you ask, gee, where's Wall Street going? The reality is that if we were to recover now, if this temporary uptick in the markets that we're seeing today, if this were permanent instead of temporary, it would literally be the first time in history that we've recovered from one of these secular market cycles in only 14 years.
It would seem to me as if, though, if we're talking 35 years, let's just talk about the general investor. Joe Beer Can, the guy who's out there wants to save a little money, send his kids to college maybe. Come up and say 35 years. That doesn't work for him. That doesn't work for his family. So how then can they view the market to make a few bucks early on and not have to sit and wait 35 years? Or is that even possible now in the current era of Wall Street?
Well, that's why I named the book Stop Financial Insanity, because a lot of the things, a lot of the rhetoric that you hear from financial advisors, from major Wall Street firms, and even sometimes from mutual fund families, if you really look at it just simply and logically, it doesn't pass the sniff test. When you get into one of these markets like we've been in, the one thing that certainly doesn't work is buy and hold. You know, buy and hold investors do great in a great market like the 80s and 90s. So there's really two ways to make money in the financial markets at a time like this. One is to take what's called a tactical approach, which means you're willing to do some market timing, make wholesale moves into and out of the market as the market does its sideways roller coaster. The other way is to just stay out of the market and to focus on interest in dividend-paying investment strategies, fixed income type strategies, and just simply not play the game.
That's the point then. Is there money to be made for the small guy, for the little guy? It doesn't seem as if there is.
Well, through fixed income strategies, there is. Or if the little guy takes on that tactical management strategy where he's willing to make wholesale moves into and out of the market. You know, right now we've got most of our people completely out of the market because we're at such a record high. It just seems as though there's a lot more downside potential than upside.
Now, Ed mentioned Joe Beer Can. I know his cousin Joe Sixpack, but whether your last name is Beer Can or Sixpack, David Scranton, I want to get a little more information on the fixed value investing. In terms, what are we talking about in terms of those investment instruments?
Most of them are some class of bonds, whether you're talking about tax-free municipal bonds, corporate bonds, preferred stock, which is technically a class of stock, but really is more bond-like in its characteristic, some REITs, some annuities, things like that.
Well, in the bond market, you know, there's been some concern because some of my old colleagues in Washington are talking now about taxing pensions and taxing the money we make. Are you concerned that Washington may interfere with fixed value instruments like the bonds?
Well, all of those are currently taxable. Municipal bonds are the only exception. And I guess they could come and change the taxation on municipal bonds. But if you think about that, what that would cause is that would cause municipalities to charge a lot more interest on, or to pay a lot more interest on new issues. And they wouldn't be able to support that, and they'd have to come back hat in hand to the federal government for more money. So I think it's unlikely that they would start taxing the tax-free municipal bonds.
Well, it's good to hear that this kind of bondage, in terms of fixed value investment, may be safe, at least in terms of your assessment. David J. Scranton, author of Financial Insanity, thanks for bringing some sanity to our discussion about the dismal science of economics and the crucial science of investment. We appreciate it very much.
Well, thank you for having me.
And what are your comments on the economy? We'd love to hear from you. You can contact us via Twitter at NewsMax, #America's Forum. You can also use email. Why, it doesn't even require an electronic stamp, just the address, connect@newsmaxtv.com, and always there's Facebook. How do you reach us on Facebook? Here's the way, facebook.com/Newsmax. Stay with us, there's more to come on America's Forum.